Oh, we're on our way back from Columbus. Finally, we stayed down last night. Justin was over. He came over to the United States of America for the weekend. Obviously, the kids want to stay down. Went to the water park. It didn't get the result at the track we wanted. Now we did today so far at 6:56 in the evening. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, I got to see Globetrotting take a new lifetime mark of 153. Now, I think everybody knew that watched the race at the Meadowlands that if they just tinkered with her a little bit, there was probably a really nice horse inside there. Now, I hadn't talked to Matt Kikali yet. I know Matt pretty good. I hadn't talked to him yet, but it looked like she was fairly well in hand and looked really good doing, I think, last half 56 and a bit, which was good for her. So a good start. I see that on weeks that things aren't good, Sunday's the last day, or Sunday could be the first day, depending on how the horses on Sunday race. Today is Saturday. I really got to work on those days. There's so many of them. 7 days in a week. It is Saturday, not Sunday. But I'm going to start next week on Saturday, okay. All right? Because Globetrotting race good. Hey, your phone turned on. Globetrotting race good, 153. Looked very good. We got some horses in tonight. Obviously, we're watching and hoping the best for some grassroots action tonight at Malk. Now, a lot of people ask me, Anthony, where is Brilliant Corners? And I keep forgetting that not everybody watches all the videos I put out. I can't really blame you guys. But at the same time, when I'm running around, it's impossible for me to write out a note to our clients, unless you just want them to be 2-sentence notes. Hey, Brilliant Corners, scope sick, won't be in for 2 weeks. Anthony. It's not very personal. I'd rather tell you that the horse was flat the other night. Carmen had called me right. Carmen loves War We Welcome and Brilliant Corners. Obviously, he raced War We Welcome in the gold, which I wouldn't have necessarily rubber stamped, but he was adamant that she was a nice mare, wanted to race in the gold, so we did. She came up sick. Her GGT, her liver, we've had this problem before. It jumped, and she raced poorly. Brilliant Corners was a winner in 51-4. A lot of eyeballs, maybe including the commissions, on Brilliant Corners. His next start went from a condition claimer back into the condition and get chewed up the last quarter, but he did look a little flatter, didn't he? And again, Carmen scoped him full of mucus, so he needed 2 weeks off. Now, I got to be honest, for the people out there, I really don't care about the grassroots unless we can win them. If they're going to go on 49 on the big track and 50, I don't really care to race Brilliant Corners that much in there. Now, in the past, historically, in the fall, a lot of the classes that were written for Ontario sired horses would be horses that raced in the grassroots. Numbers 25 horses that raced in the grassroots, whether it be a preferred, like first come first serve for horses in the grassroots, and then other horses, or whether they would be segregated. So it always made sense to at least race once in the grassroots. But outside of that one trip, for perfect example is First Glance. Here's a horse that has raced exceptionally well this year. I don't think he's missed the top 2. I know he hasn't. He hasn't been outside of the top 2 all year. Now we're racing him. There's a horse that won at 49, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in there with him tonight. It's just not fair. Not good for us, not good for the horse. He's got like 20,000 made, if that. Grassroots. It's the staking system as a whole. And if you guys follow me on Facebook, you'll know that I had a fairly lengthy, it wasn't a rant, it was my take on the staking system across the board. Pennsylvania, Ohio's no different. Look at the Buckeye Trot the other night for 2-year-old trotters. 56, track record, first start of his life. There's no gimmies. We knew that going in. Nobody knows how good the horses are going to be from year to year. We knew we had nice horses this year going into Ohio. It just turns out that other people have nice horses too. Perfect example of that, Voyage of Ice and Fire. Nice goal. 2 minutes, last half 58 off an incredibly slow half last night. Looked ordinary, at best. He looked like a Buckeye colt, which he's going to be his next start. But this time of year, gives us an opportunity to look at a number of things. What works, what doesn't, as far as our training, getting our horses to the races. What works, what doesn't, while they are at the races. We need to be able to pivot quickly. We paid Voyage of Ice and Fire in. Now, clearly, after watching last night, Slim Jimmy's the better horse of the two of them. But, regardless, I couldn't take that spot away from me. We went through this with Voyage of Ice and Fire. Raced okay, finished 4th, tried at 58. I really wanted to see a mile and 57 last night. Now, track was not fit to do that, but it was the same track everybody had to race on. Sure, he had a lot of weight on. Sure, he doesn't like a deep track. He still has to race. So he'll go to the Buckeyes next start. Gives us an opportunity to look at all our horses and take a look. If you go back and look at my video from 3 weeks ago, I was adamant that Voyage of Ice and Fire was most definitely a sire stake horse. After last night, he was most definitely not a sire stake horse. There's nothing wrong with that. Still 3 Buckeyes left to go for $18,000. There's still fares. There's still the Ohio Sires that we paid into, the Breeders' Championships, the 2 of them. And then the final, hopefully, for the Buckeye. It's our first start. We can pivot after our first start, but we need to pivot. Don't go doubling down on insanity. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. You know, you look at Slim Jimmy, perfect example. He's definitely a sire stake horse. In fact, after looking at all the horses last night, he's as good as any colt in Ohio. I think, you know, the breeder messaged me this morning. People messaged me on Twitter, on Facebook. People took note of the horse. Sure, he looked flashy getting home. I blame myself for not going to the winner's circle. But he did look good. There's no two ways about that. I think Of Tom could be a little better. Found a few little things with her last night we're going to work on. Purple Aura looked good. She hit herself last night too. Her hind leg blew up this morning, so she just one good whack right on the front. But I think we can work on that. I told everybody last night she'd scuffed up the inside of her feet, the inside of her pasterns, and it wants up on the... So why is she? Is it the flip-flops? Because the burros were a no-go. Not going to happen with that filly. So what do we have? Where are we going to go from here with her? We'll see. We'll see how we're going to make a few little tweaks with her shoeing behind. Not touching the flip-flops until we absolutely have to. Just because she touched her leg and it blew up, or she scuffed up her foot, we're not going up front just yet. Now, we do want to look at the angles on the filly, but nothing more. So let's get back to what we were talking about. So in my opening, I want to talk about who did good this week. Obviously, leading the pack. You know, don't forget, it might have been Tuesday, but it's still fresh in my mind. Bomb Hugger looked incredible in Saratoga, heading into another small track, Batavia. Going to take another good horse to knock her off Batavia, I can tell you that. Globetrotting looked fantastic today. Who else do we got? Slim Jimmy looked fantastic. You see our list here. A little gander. Tipsy and Dixie last Sunday jogged. How did James put it? Didn't break a sweat. That was his words, not mine. Went to the vet day after. She said a little off right hind in the ankles. Did some work on her. Going to be a fun year. That's a perfect example, though. What's Tipsy and Dixie do if we put her in the gold? Maybe she can do. She did last year. Remember that screw up last year where I didn't enter her in the grassroots? So he said, well, you know, it's at Grand River. Let's race her in the gold. And she raced great. She could do in a gold. She'll do very good in a grassroots. So knowing what you have and what you don't have, being able to pivot quickly is important. And that's what we're trying to do here in Ohio. We saw how everybody did. You heard me talk the other day about Taiwan On. Not ready to completely bury our dreams about sire stakes with this filly. First lifetime start, 57-4 in the mud, cut her some slack. Yes, there's some good horses out there. You're in Pennsylvania. There's always good horses out there. But it's off again. Okay. But understanding what you are and you aren't is important. And I don't want to give up on the horses either, right? So, Tipsy and Dixie, big mile last Sunday. Jogged. Then we come out Monday. Did I have I'm a Lovely Lady Monday or Wednesday? Monday. I'm a Lovely Lady continues to look good. I said to Jason the other day, I said, I had to look twice. The only time in her life she's missed a check, ever in her life, with the trotting hobbles on, was when she was 7th in the final of the Hackett this year, one of her first starts of the year. her last 9, she hasn't missed the board. 2 lifetime marks in her last two starts. She is razor sharp. Talk about little horses that look great. What about Grace on Monday night, finishing 2nd? That was Tuesday? Yeah, that's right, it was Tuesday. We're going to bounce around a little bit throughout the week. We're just going to call it the first part of the week. Grace, see my segue from I'm a Lovely Lady into Grace. That's why you ruined it.
Is that really little?
Yeah, they're little.
Oh.
You ruined it. That's all right. I'll let it go. I'm a Lovely Lady was fantastic, and then Grace came out and raced incredibly good to be 2nd. Gold Filly. And, quite frankly, James still leans towards Mischievous Rose. If we can keep her healthy, if we can keep her sound, if we can keep her ready to attack and in attack mode all year. I don't know much. I didn't go that often with Mischievous Rose, but I know James is quite high on her, quite high on Grace, and I'm quite high on Archer's Rainbow. Now, Johnny almost got me. He almost got me back to Canada on Tuesday. He texted me, said, Sylvain can't drive the fillies. James is in Georgian Downs. Jody can't drive them. He said, can you come back and go with them? No, I don't really want to come back and go. If I have to, I will. And I'm thinking, go to the border with the torture. I know I can get a PCR test. I know I got my vaccination. I can get through. James said, don't worry about it. You just got to get your PCR test at the border, then a snap test at Mohawk, and you're all right. What about Mario? He's gone with lots of these horses all year. Why the hell can't he go with them? One's got the 9-hole, one's making her first start lifetime. It's not like we're expecting a lot. In fact, I know you watch these videos, Mario Bergeron. No fronting. And to be quite frank, there would have been a better chance of me putting them on the front than Mario. Up the inside, just treat it like a maiden. Yes, we have to pay to race in it. Yes, it's a stake race. No, we're not going to race them hard on Monday, especially 9-hole filly coming off a qualifier. These are 2 fillies that were sick 2 weeks ago. Sick. We have concerns about allergies with both of them. So managing these horses isn't just a medical thing. It's also an intelligence thing. It's, know when you can push and you can't push. That might even come down to the weather itself. But understanding what you can and can't do on a daily and weekly basis is important for these 2 fillies. So Monday evening we'll be racing Mischievous Rose and Archer's Rainbow. I'd like them raced, but not raced hard, please. Anyway, Renegade Gypsy raced great the other night. I know Mario put him on the front. He put him in a position to do well. I don't blame him for that. Horse was ready to go there. He thinks maybe he was slipping a little bit. Flip-flops will do that. You don't really see it sometimes until you're asking them for an extended period of time in 5th gear. It may just tire them out a little bit. He's got that big sprawly gait. Yeah, you could sell me on the flip-flops being a big cause for that horse fizzling out. Said he scoped not bad. You could sell me on that. So Renegade Gypsy, taking the flip-flops off him, I suspect you're going to see him improve in the coming weeks. But he belongs. That horse that won the race looked great. Take the horse of Anthony Hans, and congratulations to him. But you take the horse, and Meg, you take the horse of Hans out of there, we're being, a nose for 2nd. Horse raced great. So Mario, again, doing a great job with his crew. Renegade Gypsy raced good. World for 2, the race before, raced good. We had a client of ours, a friend of mine, said, hey, Anthony, can we just race this guy at the Meadows? Can we get him over the States? I know. No, we're not taking World for 2 out of Canada. Not right now. We can race in Georgia. I just don't feel the need for this horse to travel. I only want to race him 6 or 7 times to turn him out. This is a giant. With the one thing, I've learned a lot in the 5 years that I've been with the stable, and having so many horses has allowed me to do that. 5-6 years ago, you could never sell me on an idea of breaking a horse as a yearling with the intention of it being an effective 3-year-old. Knowing that going in, you couldn't sell me on that. Not that interested. I am now. You guys have seen that. I think for those of you that have been with me for a long time, I've changed too. World for 2. I just want to see him get some experience, maybe put some money away. I'm not going to turn down money, but at the same time, I don't want to hurt him. I want to bring back the best form of World for 2 that we can have. And I think that is far from today. So no, to Rob, I appreciate the email and message. I know you'd love to see him race at the Meadows. I know you'd love to see him race stateside, but it's just not going to happen. Not right now anyway. Who else do we got here? Bomb Hugger, talked about her. She was incredible on Tuesday. Really just jogged. I had her hobbles. I had her pretty shackled up. I had her hobbles on tight. This is a filly that'll wear them super tight. But I think we could let them out a little bit, but probably going to see them very similar at Batavia. My take on it is simple. You know, I had a great conversation with Mark Beckwith, and Jimmy King and I had talked about this also, and I said, listen, I know that I'm not getting paid very much if they make a break. I can pull up and say, I'm a little tired going under the wire. Yeah, hobbles were tight. But I don't get that back. I don't get to say, geez, they were just a little too long because she made a break. So we can let them out as the year goes on, but most importantly, realistically, you have a filly like her, as talented as her, racing in a place where she can be effective. Don't make breaks. Number one rule of driving trotters: keep them trotting. So, Bomb Hugger was fantastic. As I said, first glance racing. It's unfair to Little Grey Bugger. Race against that freak tonight, whoever it is. That's what the grassroots is now. I told everybody the other day, they should have a third tier. They should have that prospect. It should go for 8 to 10 grand every week. The OSS money should be mixed in with overnights. Marty Fine was the one that messaged, that put something on the Facebook wall about the video, and he's right. I think if you took a little bit of money out of the purse pool, a little bit of money out of the OSS, keep that $7,500. Throw in another $2,500 out of the purse pool, race for 10 grand in the Prospect Series, but make it a claimer. Make it an 18 to 20 claimer, something like that. So you don't have those guys going down and cannibalizing the horses that aren't grassroots horses. There's nothing. How can you be upset with a horse like First Glance? The horse has been incredible all year. Been racing great all year long. And he has to race against 49 pacer. Come on. He's not the only one in there, too. There's other good horses in there. So First Glance, this will be his one and only shot at the grassroots. It's ridiculous. Just race him in the numbers of 20 or 30 or 40. You can make decent money in there. Race for half the money we don't have to pay to get our heads kicked in. I just think across the board, Ohio, now that Ohio's getting stronger, getting better mares, getting more money, it's worth having a look. Now, Ohio's different because they got that fair circuit, right? 4 conferences of them across the state. So it's a little bit different. But Pennsylvania is the fairs, but it's not the same. And then, New York, New Jersey, Kentucky, everywhere. Is you get a lot of horses in there. As you trip that alarm, or geez, we got a lot of horses to race in this state, this province. You should look at a 3-tier system, but protect the bottom. Because if we don't protect our owners that are buying the horses for $12,000 to $15,000 with the hopes that they're good horses, and don't give them an exit strategy, don't say, hey, if your horse is in grassroots, you can't race. People just stop buying them. It hurts the breeders, it hurts the industry. So I think we do need a 3-tier system, and I'd like to see that 3rd tier be a claiming system. Fair for everybody, and it keeps the jackals away. So, First Glance Racing tonight. Good luck to him, and our clients are going just about an hour. They're going postward. What else do we have? Resolute Bay. Amy didn't want to put him on the list because he didn't race this week. Well, you didn't. You didn't.
You didn't need to say that.
I might have thrown you under the bus. She didn't want to because he didn't race last week, but I think he's worth mentioning. Somebody had said, why didn't we race Resolute Bay this week? I don't know, because he's a little immature red horse, and I don't want to hurt him. It doesn't matter what color he is.
It does matter what color he is.
Okay. It does. So I had a very constructive conversation with Bob, one of our clients today. He wanted him in the gold, and I said, absolutely not. I'm not throwing him in there. Some of those horses are big and strong. People that put their horses in the golds, their horses seem to be a little more ready to rock. And it's not that this guy isn't, but I don't want to break his spirits. I don't want to hurt him. And at no point did Johnny or James even remotely allude to the fact that he could be going in the gold, so it never even come up. It was a non-starter, a non-conversation. If he grows into a gold-type horse, there's lots of racing for him all summer. It wasn't going to be this week. So he raced great last week. That was a good mile for him. The way he busted out of the gate, followed the horse, looked good. Looked good. I was very happy with him. But those are stepping stones. It's a first step to becoming a racehorse. So I can't wait to see him in the grassroots next week. Twinkle in her eye. We always hoped, right? We hoped. It's not that she went out and broke the track record, but she looked good. Both her and Century Invictus this week. Invictus got a little bit lost late in the stretch and got picked off, but he raced good. And then Twinkle in her eye. Travis said hit lots of pace at the wire. These are both Which one better than Cherry? They both are Bettor's Delight, right? They're both Bettor's Delights, and sometimes you see them come alive when they see the gate. Both these horses didn't light anybody's world on fire training down. Nobody called me or emailed me saying, "Oh my God, that horse looked good today." Hopes, dreams, and the Bettor's Delight came out, and it appears to be coming out. Century Invictus seems to have some life. You couldn't go a mile and 25 on the front with that horse, let alone 55. He looked good. I would like to see him covered up, but who am I to say no? The horse looked good though. And then Twinkle in Her Eye closing hard on the end of it. Travis drove her good. She raced good. Love to see her finish up the way she did. Just a great mile from her. So that's good. Sweet on Pete. I told everybody last week. It wasn't like I was going to say my bet of the week. She was like 3 to 5. But I told everybody she did exactly what I expected her to do. Got a little green coming out of the last turn. I had to pull the earplugs on her, and then she just tore a hole in the track finishing up. We're going to keep her in the Buckeye level for a little bit, but make no mistake, I think she raced better than Upton did this week. I think she raced better than who's the other fellow? Purple Aura raced good. Take nothing away from Purple Aura. She's a little funny. We'll talk about her in a minute a little bit more, but Sweet on Pete looked very, very good. Eyes at 10 looked good this week. Second, you guys might have seen I was a little tender with her. Now, full disclosure, I didn't want to sleep on the pull-out couch. I didn't want to put her on the run.
Do not blame me for this.
Well, I didn't want to put her on the run. Didn't want to have her make a break. So Amy loves that filly, obviously, and still has a piece of that filly. Loves her very much, and we've been furiously trying to find a combination that would help her. I was almost at the point where I was going to turn her out. She was that close to being turned out. We made the last shoeing change with her. I trained her. I said, that's the one. Now we're cooking with gas. She looked much better. Didn't hit her knees. Maybe brushed him a little bit. Did her jack blow up? Yeah. See. So she was real good in the race. 2-3 bit of port, right? It's hard to gauge that card. I'm not worried about the speed with this filly. That might sound silly, but I think if I pounce on that horse in the last turn, I'm a winner. To be honest, I thought I was a winner anyway, and I didn't want to put her on the run. So in my mind, heading into the last stretch, I thought I was just going to move her over and she was going to trot by. It didn't work out that way, and I was very careful with her down the lane because she had made a break in the straightaway at the fair. She had made a break in a schooler coming out of the gate or finishing up. You had to watch her. You could really hear her hitting herself. Halfway down the lane, I knew I wasn't winning, and I wanted her to finish up strong, but I didn't want to compromise her, so I just let her coast, and she was picking it up and coming forward at the wire. So very, very happy with the way Eyes at 10 raced this week also. So some of those fillies are coming on that I said would. Path of Totality was huge the other night. Yes, I was second place third, and yes, I deserved it. But no, I don't feel bad about it. I snuck my way out. I get out free and clear, and then Path of Totality ran in a little bit. When I checked her off of the wheel of Chris Page, I ended up clipping Sandy Beatty, and I was tossed. And I deserved it, but she raced great. And as I said to the judges, second place third is better than fourth, and if I don't come out, I'm fourth. So filly raced great though. Very, very impressed with her intelligence, the way she's racing. I hope she stays sound. I'm always worried, right? Her knees do bother her quite a bit, but so far so good. And the fact that she's being so behaved behind the gate leads me to believe she is getting sounder. So hopefully that becomes a trend with her. Almost there, boss. Gary said to me the other night, he goes, grassroots or overnight? Doesn't got a real strong resume heading into the grassroots, right? The qualifier where he walked. Not a really enduring quality to be heading into the grassroots with, but at the same time, Harry was adamant he shut his air off. Even Sylvain had told him he thought he did. So changing his headgear, is he going to behave? Certainly did. That was clearly a huge mile for him. Third and 54 at a piece, and looked good doing it. Phil drove the horse good. Call a spade a spade. Phil drove the horse very good, and he raced good. So congratulations to that group. And Harry, great job. Well done. Almost there, boss. Looked great. Century Invictus raced good. I think he just got lost deep in the stretch on the front. But happy to see this horse come to life. Very, very happy to see him come to life. Purple Aura, as I said at the opening, hit her, I don't know what her hand leg was, I assume left. still was into the pulley a little bit, into the hobbles. We're going to continue to tinker with her, but man, I just don't see a way we can get those flip-flops off her.
Did you know where the hobbles
They're up
that are-
high.
No hobbles that are play across the belly.
No, kid belly band was? No, it's just terrible. In trouble. Maybe, but I don't think so. We'll see, maybe. We can maybe try those on her. But Purple Aura, very tenacious in her race and raced well. The best she could. Take nothing away from her. Very impressed with her tenacity. Takes a lot. She hit that lag at some point. I don't think it was repeated. I think it was one good crack. Hit her lag. Touched her knee once in a while. I taped her knees up. I thought those shutter steps that I was seeing was her catching a knee boot. I'm sure it was. Nope. I saw scuff marks on both the left and right hind down below the pastern on the hoof. You don't often see those. So we're going to tinker with the shoes a little bit more, just behind. See if we can't get her right. But man, I think she deserves another shot in the Sire Stakes. I thought she raced great. Take nothing away from her. Give her another crack.
Has she been on the front before? Was that her first time?
No, she won the qualifier in the front, remember?
Okay.
And I mean, keep in mind, that was one of the first Sire Stakes. I thought 29, 59, and 4 was pretty soft fractions. Turned out, not so much. I saw a couple of 101s and 102s that night. Maybe I could have threw a little 102 into them. If you go back and look, the horse that won the race, that Roxy Dew or whatever, she was the only triumphant caviar I liked in the whole sale. I bid on her. I think she went for 14 or 15,000. I don't know if I was the underbidder, but I definitely bid on her. Small little thing, but she's just a rugged little bugger. And then obviously Slim Jimmy was incredible. Slim Jimmy is an incredible colt. You know, here's a horse that really didn't interest anybody. Tell the truth. You guys left like 40, 50 shares on there till late in the season. Nobody loved Jimmy. Nobody gave him any respect. And the people that liked him thought he was a pretty trotter, but just didn't really see if there was any speed there. I can tell you there's lots of speed. I kind of kicked myself for not putting him in a little bit better position when I had the chance. A lot went into that drive, I think. And I know a lot of people thought it was a great drive. It really wasn't. And I think Slim Jimmy's one of the best horses in Ohio. I don't see a colt out there that is going to make him look bad. A colt that's going to beat him fair and square and just flat out trot him. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed one of the races, but nothing I've seen so far will scare Slim Jimmy.
Well, you never know too, the horses that make breaks. You don't know that they are.
I don't know that, but I don't think there's a horse in Ohio that's going to scare Slim Jimmy. And I think a lot of people took note of Slim Jimmy last night. Can't wait to race him in Northfield. At home, our home track, our backstretch next week. Yeah, it is next week. Amor Diener raced great yesterday. Man, that was a surprise. Not a surprise that he won. The shocking part was how fast the 2-year-old trot went, 56. And then they came out with the open trot for 2, 3-year-olds and above, and it went in 2 minutes. I was a little worried down the backstretch. I said, geez, what's this guy doing? He's a better horse than this. Put him in gear around the last turn, drove right by them and drove away. Look, professional. 28-3 on the end, last half 58-1. Good looking colt. He's in to go in the Stallion Series on Wednesday. That was a great tightener for him, so I'm happy there. White Tiger was third the other day again. I finally worked it out with Joe will be happy, worked it out with Mr. Lieberman. I believe White Tiger, now it would be unfair not to let Tim race him again this week. The horse is racing good. But he is on the radar to head to Massachusetts. Jeffrey Lieberman is the trainer. Now, it was funny. Jeffrey Lieberman's owners had called looking to buy horses in a lockdown. We didn't end up selling any of them. We couldn't agree on a price. It just didn't work out. And through conversing with them, Josh Schwartz is the name of the gentleman. He said that Mr. Lieberman has a small stable. Doesn't keep too many horses around. Had a trotter in the open at that time, or the backup class, bouncing around back and forth. And doesn't have that horse anymore, so he would have a stall, and he does need a trotter. Well, we have a trotter. We have a lot of them. When we had Oso Pine, that was on the tip of my tongue. I was thinking about him. Even Stonebridge Simba. I think White Tiger just fits better. I'd like to keep him on his toes. I like the way he's racing. But I would like to have the thought of racing for more money and cheaper horses. Flying does kind of interest me. So Joe, after a long long time, is going to get his wish. He's going to get to see White Tiger at Plain Ridge Downs, I believe, Plain Ridge Raceway at some point. As I said at the start, Globetrotting was absolutely incredible today. It's because it's fresh in my mind. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever had a better horse than Globetrotting. Lawmaker was a good horse. We had a lot of horses that were good horses. Made $300,000-$400,000, took lifetime marks, raced in stake races. Lawmaker raced in Hamiltonian elimination. But I don't know that I've ever had a better one than Globetrotting. I think she could be any kind of horse. She's in her 4-year-old year, which is kind of a shit year, right? You don't get there. You're asked to race against 5- and 6-year-olds, which is hard to do. I think as a 5-year-old, she's a scary animal. We just get some experience and speed into her at 4. Ooh, she could be any kind of horse at 5. So very proud of Globetrotting. Jason did a great job with her, training her back. I really didn't sit behind her very much at all. I sat behind her as much as Travis Henry did. That's what I did. And Ron Burke, obviously, is Ron Burke. He's the best trainer in the world, I guess. But obviously done a great job with her, and she was good today. So Admirable was a winner in the middle of the week also. I know that Mark Beckwith really likes his filly, and her inconsistency was bothering him. And I know he thought that she bled a little bit, and she was a little bit sick, and then he came out and raced her the other day. She raced great. Now she was dropping down. And I'd love to see her continue to race good because, I didn't get to meet Melissa. My apologies, Melissa, but I did get to meet Mark. Really nice guy. I can see what my brother likes about him. Nice guy, good horseman, and nice to be around. So wish him all the luck and all the help with Bomb Hugger. I appreciate that. Thank you. But also, So Admiral, thank you very much. Great job with her. Adrenaline Rush. Now, a little controversy here with Adrenaline Rush. He actually is in to go tomorrow. I've called the race secretary and said, listen, your automated system, I entered Adrenaline Rush for Sunday for Jason. Then I realized that Brilliant Corners was not going to be in that condition claimer at Mohawk, and said, rather than not enter at Mohawk and then risk the chance of that class not going at Georgian. Remember, this is a class at Georgian that went with 6 and 7 horse fields the last 3 weeks. What if it doesn't go in Georgian? We missed Mohawk, and now we don't get to go in Georgian. Plus, if we do race in Georgian, we have to race against the other horse, Blue Monk. And I hate racing against our own horses, especially for such a small amount of money. So I entered him at Sunday, but I did back it up. First and foremost, enter him Thursday. Now, I would have thought when the Thursday draw come out, they wouldn't have used him on Sunday, but it's not fair to them either. There are people that would race Thursday, Sunday. I'm one of them, but just not that horse. I didn't call to take him out. I guess somewhere in my mind I thought he won't get in on dates, but I just finished telling you there have been 6, 7 horse fields every week. Now that the horse raced good, now the only thing was I called and asked before he raced. Had I not done that, it would have looked like I was trying to save my bacon and say, oh, I don't want somebody to claim for. I don't care if you claim for 22. Go ahead. But he raced good at Mohawk. I'd like to race him back at Mohawk. The only way we can race him back at Mohawk is if the judges give us a judge's scratch. I don't know if they will. And I know there's going to be people out there saying, well, maybe I want to claim him for... Just pick the phone up. If you're out there thinking that we were trying to screw around with the classes, pick the phone up. We'll sell you the horse. Ain't no problem with that. Adrenaline Rush is a nice horse, but it's not like he's worth $30,000. Is he worth more than 22? Maybe. By a few dollars. But keep in mind, they went 54-2 last quarter in 30 seconds. And he dead heated for second. It's not like he went in 52 like they did the week before, or 51 the week before that. 54-2. Go easy. So Adrenaline Rush raced great. Easy now. Jazzy Judy raced good this week too. I know we had a couple of clients say she didn't race good. She did. She did race good. I didn't want her first over. She's not. I was surprised though. Talked to Jimmy King and he said he is going to Ocean Downs with her. Told me he wasn't. Now he is. So I don't know whether he got a license. Is that even Maryland? Ocean Downs. He's in. Somebody's going to call and tell me. You don't have to. I'm going to figure it out. Relax. But she is going to Ocean Downs, so that's cool. I don't think I'm going to go down and drive her though, because they say the airport's like an hour and a half or an hour, 2 hours away. They go for like $10,000 to $12,000. It's really just going to use it as a prep race for her. I'll tell you what I'll do. If they draw the race at Ocean Downs, and I'm not racing anything that day, and I find a way to get there, I'll get there. But it kind of sucks too, because if they do go for 12 or 13, we get, if she wins, we get $6,500, and then you got to pay me $700 to fly there to drive her. We'll see how it shakes out. Not too worried about it just yet. So those are the horses that race good. Now there are other horses that people want to talk about. Obviously, not everything was great. We didn't have a great night last night. As I sat there and thought about it, run everything back in my head as I was going to bed, we didn't have a horrible night. We just didn't have a great night. Voyage of Ice and Fire wasn't great. Tried to have 58 a mile in 2 minutes in a deep track. Maybe he is a Buckeye horse. Of Tom hit the 9 hole. I could have been 4th if I just stayed along the rail. I could have been 4th or 5th. But I thought I'd give them another run in the last turn, because that's what she trots the best, is that last turn. End up costing me money. She was 6th. She raced okay. Come at 58, same as the other one. Purple Aura raced good, 59. Coming off, being a little short, and then coming off the entrapment procedure. Purple Aura? I thought she did. Oh, I said that last night too. You're right, it was Sweet on Me. Purple Aura just didn't get a chance to race. 58, trained her back. You're right, my apologies. Good thing you're here. Too bad you weren't here last night, because I said the same thing on the other video. They didn't. Shame on you. So Purple Aura raced in 58, gave her the week off. Well, we tried to put her in Scioto and she didn't get in. Right, now I remember. Sweet on Peter, the entrapment, right? So Purple Aura raced good. Gonna continue to tinker with her, but she looks like she's fine in there. I'm not too worried about her just yet. My Jazz, big news. She's 100%. Finally got her foot squared away. Jason did some vet work on her. She will be, I'm fairly confident she will be qualifying on Thursday. Or Wednesday now. It's Wednesday. I can't qualify on Wednesday at 4 o'clock because I will be at racing in the Stallion Series. So either, I think Luke Ebersol, one of those guys, can go with her. I think we have one other one to qualify too. I can't think of who it is, but yeah, Luke can go with her. So she will be qualifying Wednesday. Wednesday at 4 o'clock are the qualifiers at Northfield Park this week. They're doing some maintenance work on the track and dredging the pond and doing this and doing that. So they've changed the Yes. No, he doesn't have to qualify. He's racing next week. But we didn't put him on the list. I schooled Yes in 56 or 55 on Thursday. The reason I don't know is because I forgot my watch in the barn. Jason timed it though. He said, I didn't get your first half, but we tried the last half 56. I know I'm at that 59 easy. So probably on a mile 55, I'd say. 55 and a bit over Northfield Park. So huge schooler for him. Unfortunately, he has to race in the Open, I believe. Class above at Stonebridge Simba next week. So we'll see how that shakes down. What else now? Now, My Jazz. Long road getting this filly patched up. Back to 100%. Jason swears she is 100% right now. Trained her a mile and a half on Friday morning. Said she trained very good. Last half of 101 in the jog cart. That was with the big funky shoes on that she has on. Blacksmith came, ripped them all off. They were supposed to. Ripped them all off. Her foot looked great. Trimmed her all up. Changed her all up. We just had a pair of shoes put on her today to jog. Tomorrow to jog. Blacksmith's coming Monday morning to shoe her, and then she will qualify on Wednesday. Perfect record. His blood didn't come back that bad, and he was piss poor in the qualifier. Very weak and drawn out. I'll tell you what, if he doesn't pick the bid up this week and come forward in a big way, I might just turn him out for a month. He's had a rough go, and his stake races are coming up in the fall, so most importantly is try to capitalize most we can. I know this is a frustrating situation, Craig, myself, other people that own him, but at the end of the day, we want what's best for the horse, and we want to put him in the best place to do the most for us, to be quite frank. And I think asking him to race right now if he doesn't want to is probably not the best thing to do. So if he needs some time out in the field to freshen up, fine, we got time. We can make time for him, and that's something we will do if we have to, but I'll defer this particular conversation for at least a few days from now. Then Prairie Fire, a lot of people asking about him. That leg's still bruised, and I don't really know, to be honest. you know, we saw this year when it comes to bruises, things like pus pockets and quarter cracks and hoof separations, things that aren't tears, that aren't fractures, that aren't lines. Sometimes they're just as frustrating. And I think a lot went into Prairie Fire's bruise. I think if you look at his last race, running in real bad, if he's taking that much weight on the left side, there may be more to it than just a bruise. And again, a nice colt. He's not going to be Sire Stake horse the way they're racing, not the way he's at. So I think what's best is to make sure that we have the best form of Prairie Fire moving forward. We all know he's talented. He qualified in 59 with a bow in his neck. Horse can fly. But I'm not going to put him in a position to hurt himself. Not going to hurt that colt. So whatever he needs done moving forward, if that's time, then that's what he'll get. But it is still bruised right now, and he is going to need a little bit more time. And now, to end off the video, which is still going at 40 minutes.
I know.
Unbeatable Kemp and Garden State Dio. I was really, really, really torn. You know, we had a plan with Kemp, qualifying with the Meadows. If he looks good, then go stateside. Go east, young man. And let's go west, young man. Never mind.
He's going west now.
Yeah, he's going west now. So, Unbeatable Kemp. The only thing I asked him was, don't be first over, don't be on the front. And you know what? It was a little awkward last night. Not really, because not much he can do. But I'm literally standing elbow to elbow with Ron Burke when the horse is racing. There's a horse in front of him, pulls up down the backstretch. He goes around him. I'm like, oh, kind of sucks, but whatever. Here he is, right in the exact same place. Ronnie saw him moving. I saw him moving. We both looked at each other, and he goes, here we go again. And he wheeled him out. I can't tell how good the horse is. I don't know if he's not good enough, or if he was pulling up, or he was acting up. I don't know. And that's the most frustrating thing, is that probably going to take this horse back now, not knowing if he could have done. Now, he's not going to beat that freak of Marks, you know, Ray Schnicker's horse, King of the North, and a number of other ones. But it would have been nice to see if he could keep up and finish strong with those horses. Just don't come first over, please. Don't do it. So, Unbeatable Kemp's going to come back here. He's dual eligible. He can go to Lexington. They have an A and B division. So I think the B division of the Lexington, which goes for 30 grand or something, 4 weeks in a row, it's not peanuts. That'll be a good spot for him. We have a few. The next one I'm going to talk about also, hopefully Lexington bound, and that's Garden State Dio. I don't know what went on with her. I think this is the same old story as her big sister. If it's not right, it's not right. It's just the way it is. If, you know, and I know I talked to John Bouchente, and he said, Mark said, I know Anthony's going to say that her hobbles weren't tight enough, but, you know, they don't need to be any tighter than they are. She's not trotting straightaways great. Geez, I haven't heard that before anywhere. Just everybody that's ever gone with Garden State Dio, or Spirited Dio, sorry. I had her hobbles on very tight at Northfield Park. Now, in fairness, she trots the turns better than the straightaways, and there's a lot more straightaway than turn at the Meadowlands. So I'm not going to blame Mark or John Bouchente. I'm not going to blame the filly. In fact, I'm going to blame myself, because even though I think 56-1, a fifth off the track record at Northfield, is more than enough of a resume to send her to the second elimination of the New Jersey Sires, maybe she wasn't ready. Maybe it was more of a knee-jerk reaction than I originally thought it was. My thinking was, I could race her in the maiden at the Meadows. It went 56 the other day, and we had one in there. So I think we bring her back also. Try and get her squared away. And then eye up Kentucky also. Maybe we'll go to Kentucky.
Right.
Well, it's 2.5 weeks. Kemp, we got Garden State Dio, and Blue Bayou Dio also fits in Kentucky. So maybe we'll get down to Kentucky for a week or two. We'll see. But those three horses, two horses need to come here, back here, and Blue Bayou Dio, maybe we'll race her once more and then take her to Kentucky. So that is the final thing. It's not the end of the world. I mean, I was a little miffed. I mean, it's not like, listen, Dave Miller and Todd McCarthy are very, very good reinsmen. I'm not blaming them. It's very difficult to say stay in with a horse that feels like he wants to go. But as soon as you get him out in the wind, it's a different horse sometimes. We see how that training, you go back and look at his training sets, he'll do it training also. So we'll bring them back, race them once here, and eye up Kentucky. We have 3 horses I'm eyeing for Kentucky now. Garden State Deal, Blue Bayou Deal, and Unbeatable Kemp. And I know there's a couple more before people say, what about this one, what about that one? I know we have a couple of dual eligible horses. I'm going to have a look also. If we have some that need to go to Kentucky, then we'll take them. My truck is over here now, and it takes regular gas, and it can go to Kentucky whenever the hell I want to. So we'll see what takes place in the coming weeks, but for now, Unbeatable Kemp will likely be coming home, so will Garden State Deal and Blue Bayou Deal. Johnny had to get a split crowd on her, and then she'll likely be racing once more in Ontario and heading here also. So that is where we're at right now. You know, if last night goes differently, man, oh man, I could have talked for 2 hours. But kind of a so-so night, but that happens with racing. What we have to do is continue to race and reevaluate as we go along. If the horses aren't good enough racing the Sarge Stakes, head to the Buckeye, head to the Stallion Series, head to the Grassroots. In Ontario, if they aren't good enough for the Grassroots, which is possible, stop racing them there. We will see. Our first starter goes behind the gate in 8 minutes in Ontario. Who is it? First Glance? So good luck to the First Glance group. In with some Bearcats. Mario's stock is razor sharp, so we'll see what happens tonight, but I just don't know. We might have bit off more than we can chew tonight, but good luck to the First Glance group. Good luck to everybody racing. Kind of dormant tonight otherwise in the States. Tomorrow we got a couple racing here and there, and then Monday we're back at it. Some piss poor draws coming up Monday and Wednesday, but at the same time, that's racing. As I said last night, easy racing for the Colts on Monday. I'm not going to hurt any of them. On Wednesday, Rose Above It, I think, trained well today, trained well this week. He's coming in sharp. He's got a shot. Hopes for a prize. Maybe his last start for us. We'll see. And Prince Tab, 9-hole, what are you going to do? Hope for some breakers and hope we can sneak up the rail and get some money. But that, again, is racing. So, an okay week. Had our high points. Bomb Hugger was awesome. Globetrotting was awesome. Renegade Gypsy was good. Grace was awesome. We weren't without our high points. But here for us in Ohio, turn the page. Take care. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon.